got my drink. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. That was crisp. Cheers. Today we're drinking it's pineapple spice. And today we're also going to be talking and catching up on what I've read so far in the past, what, 2.5 months, maybe 3, and what I'm currently reading. I'm very excited to catch you guys up. I'm excited to also catch myself up because sometimes I just forget the books that I read. That's why I love Goodreads. I love using my Goodreads because I never forget. I just get to pull it up. I can recommend. I write reviews, but there are people on Goodreads who write like such in-depth reviews. So I try, like I'm not on that level. I'm really happy for them though. Like they're like, I look up to them. This is like one of my favorite probiotic sodas. Wow, so good. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Oh my gosh, wait, hold on. I forgot a book because I keep getting confused about this. Got it. So the last book that I was left off reading with you guys was A Gentleman in Moscow by Mortals. Now, the book is very popular and like I was literally told that it is some of the best literature of this century, I guess. A lot of people love this book. I wouldn't say I loved it, but it is a good read. You know, like I felt like I was just living my life under house arrest at the Metropole Hotel in Russia post like revolution 1920. Like I just felt like I wasn't reading a book, I was just living out my life. I did love the ending. Like the ending was really cute and heartwarming. It just wasn't crazy. Like this book wasn't a crazy book. It's a very like relaxed read. It's very poetic, but I will say like the love and admiration this man has for Russia is really like, he loves Russia. He was cousins with the Tsar, and like looking at Russia through the eyes of someone who adores it while it's like currently being revolutionized and is being made into the complete opposite. It's just very interesting to like witness because he's not moving with the times. He's stuck inside this hotel. So there are instances where he, like spoiler alert, he does leave and like he sees his country like turn into something that he dreads, and it's just like, it's just very interesting. I don't know, he's very much so a gentleman. He lives life very nostalgically, poetically, like is picking out a bottle of wine and is thinking about something that happened 20 years prior with the princess, and it like goes into a full chapter of this one memory. I really want to read Mortals' other book. Rules of Civility looks like a book that I could get down with. So something I want to start doing is, because I haven't done it yet, I don't think on this one. Oh, it also gives you a little map of Moscow. I actually just saw this map for the first time ever. Wow! Oh my gosh, I wish I had that while I was reading. That would have made it so much better. So basically for Christmas, one of my really great best friends gave me a book stamp. And it says from the Library of Emma Brooks, and she got me a little stamp pad. So I think that after every time we talk about a book, we'll stamp it together as well, because I loved it. If my house is burning and I'm bringing one thing, it's this book stamp. It's true. Okay, we're gonna do it on cover page. We're gonna do it on there. I will say, I did go to Shakespeare & Co. recently, and I got 2 books and I have the stamp, and I'm like, do I add my stamp to it? Oh my gosh! Look how cute! Wait. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh, I love this stamp. Oh, okay. First book done. Moving on. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I read this book. Actually, a good friend of mine recommended this to me. Ogo. Props to you, man, because I got this book immediately. And then, I mean, it has Reese's Book Club on it, and it was produced into an Apple TV, which apparently Jennifer Garner's in. So I'm like, now I need to watch the show. Yeah, I think it's a show, not a movie. Read this in one sitting on an 8-hour flight. Like, I read this entire book on that flight. I was really intrigued. Like, it is, I mean, I think the kicker for me, I mean, obviously, like the premise is like the stepmom and the daughter are left with a missing husband slash dad, and they're left with so many questions, and they're like, they were brought to Austin, Texas, which I was like, it's just like, it's Texas. I know, I've been to Austin like twice. So duh, I was intrigued. I've been there. No, that's silly. Anyway, I was intrigued. And then like by the end of the book, I was crying because I have issues, but it's a really good book. It really pulls at all of the emotions, and the ending isn't like, I'm a sucker for like a happy but not completely happy ending. Like it's still like tearing at your heartstrings. It is filling your heart as well. Like it's giving. The basic premise of the book is about family, rekindling old ties, and like finding your family. Like it all surrounds that. And like I knew there was gonna be a plot twist because duh, like it's a mystery novel, like there has to be a plot twist. Maybe there doesn't, I don't know. And I was trying to figure it out, and when it happened, because I would keep thinking I was getting the idea of what was gonna happen, when it came to fruition, I was mind boggled still, and I was like, this was me reading. No, oh my god, you know, like it really did get me. I have mommy issues, so like stepmom daughter thing was like that dynamic of like a preteen or like a teenager and like the stepmom, that whole relationship dynamic. And spoiler warning, actually I'm trying to decide if I want to tell you right now what I want to say. I don't want to spoil it, but like god damn it. Okay, spoiler warning. If the last like line is the stepdaughter calling her stepmom mom, and that killed me. Okay, I know that doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but for me, I like when I'm reading it and I'm like, oh my god, sorry, I'm like trying to not spoil it, but at the same time I want to say everything. It's a really great book. So it's a really fast read too. Like it's only like what, like 304 pages. Like it is a really great read for the summer, in my opinion. Like, oh yeah, I read it in fall. Time for the stamp. Thank you so much, Flora Dave. I want to know some of the other books you wrote as well, because oh, also something else I wanted to say, the like array of characters were so unique in their own way, and it's like interesting how they all kind of tied together at the end. So like the character dynamic, and like just had to add in the character dynamic because they're all like tied to one another, and like you don't even know until the end, and it's just like this next book, oh my god, I'm already getting flustered. Like it's fine, just like we're grown adults here, like let's not, like let's act like them, okay? We are adults, don't be weird. However, next book is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Woo! Okay, like I had to, okay? Whenever this book came out, I was like 12, so I didn't read it. I know a lot of people did, and I wasn't one of them. So now that I'm like able to buy my own books and make my own decisions, I'm gonna read it, because I used to, you know, I didn't know, and now I know. Now for this book, I will say, I think for at the time it was written, like it probably was like pretty like crazy to talk about, and like what, like into BDSM and like to that, I don't know. Like I was like 12, so I don't really understand what the social norms were. But like from my perspective, nobody talked about sex like that. From my perspective, I mean, people, like it was just like not BDSM sex. I actually, like for the time, I think it was a crazy read. I actually think that the Christian Grey in this book was trying more for, what's her name, Anastasia? Yeah, Anastasia in this book than what it was shown in the movie. However, I haven't seen the rest of the series. Would love to read the second book, I think. It was kind of interesting, TBH. Like, it was like interesting. Like, it wasn't even like who bites their lip that much, you know? Like, why are you always biting your why are you always biting your lip? You know? Like why are you, like, I know it's not real, but it's still like, I don't understand why that had to be it. Like, if I saw someone biting their lip that much, I'd be like, girl, like this is me biting my lip. Like, I'm not like, can't even do it, seriously, I can't. The way that she did it, I mean, don't get me wrong, Dakota Johnson did a great job. It wasn't until I saw the pigtails actually be acted out that I was like, okay, I understand. Anyway, I want to keep this family friendly because this is not a family friendly book. TBH, no, definitely just like, I don't know, like I gave it like 3 stars. It's 50 Shades of Grey, you know? Did you guys know that this is based off Twilight fanfiction? Which is crazy. See, you can be anything you want if you just, you know. Oh wait, we have to stamp it. Mr. Grey will see you now. Put that away, we got that over with. So nervous the entire time. of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Gosh darn it, I love this book. And you know what? I'm really excited to read Circe. I've actually heard that from women more so that like they prefer Circe over Song of Achilles just because it is about like a woman. I'm excited to read it. I do love this book so much. I thought that it was just like a made-up story, but she actually took the story of Achilles and like switched around, modernized it, and made it short, like not as long as an epic, which I love, and then put it from the perspective of his lover. Obviously it was never declared, but yes, in this book, his lover, Patroclus, and like it was so beautifully done, wrecked my soul in such a beautiful way that I wasn't expecting. I loved how different and like set apart Patroclus was from everyone else, from all of the Greeks all around. They were so prideful and wanted fame and wanted to fight for fame so much, and like Patroclus brought the humanity into Achilles' life, because even Achilles was stuck in his head, especially with his mother Thetis down his throat, and I can't even imagine with like the kings and like just everyone, and like obviously he was supposed to be their greatest soldier, so his entire life he was like destined for that. So he had a little bit of a big head on his shoulders, but you know what, they like their relationship truly was so beautiful. And like I wonder how the story would have played out if Achilles would have just set aside his pride, because his pride is what inevitably killed Patroclus, which Patroclus had spent his entire life, or most of his life, either or, trying to protect Achilles because he didn't want him to die. Spent his entire life, and like, it's just so beautiful. And the fact that, spoiler alert, the fact that Thetis was the one to bring them back together, like actually, like it really just wrecked my soul from the inside out, just rocked it with a sledgehammer. It is such a beautiful book! And I think everybody should read it. But now I'm excited to read Circe, and then who knows, maybe I'll just reread the Iliad. I have no idea, but I'll try it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. Maybe if there's like a modern version, would love that. Stamp, I keep forgetting. The Song of Achilles. Song of Achilles from the library of Emma Brooks. What do we have next? Meet Me at the Lake, Miss Carly Fortune. This is her second novel, because I think Every Summer After was her first. You know, I really wanna see these places in real life. I have a lot to say about this one, because I think it really was a great summer read. Like overall, like I would say it was a good read. I enjoyed it. It brought me the essence of summer and nostalgia, and like, I mean, hell, I wish I loved my hometown like this. I wish, but I also, like, the description of this place, I literally can't remember the name for the life of me, but it's in Canada, like it's based in Canada, and it sounds beautiful. Like she grew up on a resort, and then she moved to Toronto, never wanted any, like had a crazy high school years. Who didn't? Okay, to be fair, she did go a little fucking crazy, which didn't, that was a shock. I was like, naked, that's crazy. Read the book. Like whenever I read the back, I thought there was gonna be a little bit more of a conflict between Jamie and Will, her boyfriend from home, and the guy that she met for 24 hours and fell in love with in Toronto and had like a crazy day and experience with him. And then fast forward like 10 years later, she's back in her hometown running the resort because her mom passed, and then Will just shows up out of nowhere. Like I thought there was gonna be more of a conflict with Jamie and Will, and I kind of wish there was, because for the dramatics of it, like I feel like that would be fire, but you know, we'll keep it wholesome. For this book, a little bit more of a spoiler warning, because these are just things I've noticed. But with the mother's diary entries, I wish there was also more of a presence with that, and then his name's Peter, and like her relationship with Peter. Like I wish there was maybe not the ending, but just like what she reveals in her diary entries, maybe more interaction with that. Maybe there was, I just wish there was like more pages, like a page at the beginning of each chapter, like even before we figure out where the pages are coming from, like just putting little insights from her mother's life. Maybe like a plot twist or sorts with that. Maybe she reveals something crazy, like her dad is actually Peter, you know, or something. I don't know, but that there would more into that. I don't know. If I can't even come up with something, who am I to judge? I really wanted to know what would happen with the resort. I wish the book was honestly a little bit longer, because I would have loved to know how they fixed the resort and like what they managed to come up with and how it recovered maybe Will painted a mural for Fern and like drew like a little fern the way they did in the beginning. Or maybe she had built like a side coffee shop, like turned half the restaurant into a cafe and lived out her dreams of owning a coffee shop. Like that would have been so adorable. And it's a very happy ending. It's like, I still, like, I'm a super sappy person, so I'm still tearing up at the end of it, you know? Like, I'm still on the verge of tears because I just think it's wholesome and happy. But it's a good read. Like, I think that it's a really great summer read, something you bring on the beach, something you read on the plane. Like, I think it is something very nostalgic, and it's a happy, digestible, fun read. Yeah, I think Carly is doing great. I mean, this book was way spicier than Every Summer After, that's for sure. Very spicy, Miss Carly. So, you know, it's cute. I think she's playing around, and I like that for her. So I'm excited to see what else she comes up with. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fulton. I love this book! Lessons in Chemistry, Bonnie Garmis. I've owned this book for a while now. I'm really bad at describing this book. I already stamped this book. Oops. Basically, like, she's a chemist in the 60s and she falls in love, and then inevitably a few years later is left with a child, and she becomes a single mother, and then fighting the forces of sexism at the time and men dominating chemistry and science, and as a woman just trying to make her way through the field, ends up actually becoming a cook show host using chemistry as like the basis of her show, and she's using it to empower women. It's very controversial. Like, there is so many great things about this book. You just have to read it. Like, the writing is there. It is, the characters in this book are all so different. I love how she was able to create characters that you loved, that you hated, and that you went from hating to loved and from love to hating. Like, it is definitely, there's so many varieties of characters and there's so many different walks of life in this book, and you know, it really expands on the point of like sexism. You know, it was like the men in control at that time. It was actually like, you just forget that like people, actually hurts my brain, and like the female rage and like the aggravation that you feel for the character, the women in this book, and like the anger that you feel against the men in this book. It's just really, it's really crazy. It's really powerful, and like, oh my gosh, it's insane. But another great thing about Bonnie as a writer is that she was constantly just dropping like these subtle hints that like there was a bigger revelation. Like, the foreshadowing in this book was so crazy. I was like constantly waiting to figure out what this one, I had one question, and I was like, what is it that's gonna tie this all together the entire time? And you know what, like, she'd be doing other things, but in the back of your head you're like, what's gonna happen? Like, it's still such a good book, and it goes from different perspectives of each of the characters, but you're able to easily like understand who's thinking what and who's doing what, and who, because it goes through their thoughts and first person perspective. You're able to easily like tell who's thinking what and who's saying what, and it even goes to the dog's perspective, which is so fun, and I love that she did that. But they're all just such lovable faces and characters. It had a great ending. I cried, and it made me laugh, which is like really hard to do with a book. But it just really was all around, like, you felt smart reading it. She's a chemist, and I think Bonnie actually, she has worked widely in the fields of technology, medicine, and education. She's an open water like rowing and chemistry and cooking and like the empowerment. It is really just such a great read, and I understand now why it's been a bestseller for so long. I hope everybody reads this book. It's really good. This is the last book I read, and now currently what I'm reading is called The Secret Book of Flora Lee. I literally am still in the early stages of this book. So far, like, I'm intrigued. I think I just need to like, I really just need to read more of it. I want to get to the middle and see, like, I'm trying to determine if I like it. I just haven't got up to the build up yet. Like, I'm still building, so I just need a little bit more time to decide. But so far, it's really cute. But anyway, this is by Patty Callahan Henry. I'm really having hope, because it seems like such a great book. It's about these two, like a younger sister and an older sister, and whenever it was during World War II, and they had to evacuate to the suburbs of London. A lot of children were sent on trains at that time to like live with foster families or foster homes, like Narnia, like they did in Narnia actually. And they basically, like, the older sister created Whisperwood, which is a secret world for them to cope with World War II and to cope with not being with their mother anymore, and their dad had already died. And then the younger sister supposedly got lost in the river and disappeared at a young age. And then 20 years later, the older sister is working in a bookshop and receives she's about to go work in Sotheby's? How people say it? Sotheby's? I am feeling very slow tonight. But she works with like rare books and rare illustrations. So she gets like a first edition of this book about Whisperwood, and she has not heard of it since her sister died or disappeared. So she's thinking like it's a connection to her sister, and it's like starting to get somewhere where like I really am intrigued. So I want to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. I shall see you guys next week, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button for whenever I make my next video. Bye guys, love y'all.